And then I'll have you empty your pockets and come back through the metal detector again.
Can I get a drink alone? Yeah, she's also. But I understand. Yes. Raise your right hand. I swear you will do it. I swear this will do this case for the truth.
Good afternoon, Officer Page. You please state your name and spell your last name for the record.
Morgan Page, P-A-G-E.
And Corporal Page, are you currently employed?
As a patrol officer with the City Police Department.
How long have you been employed as a patrol officer?
Just over 8 years.
And what training and experience do you have with police officer for Lehigh City?
I attended a state certified police academy out of UVU, and then I completed the field training
And during your 8 years as an officer, is there any type of drug recognition or drug training that you've completed?
Yes.
Could you please describe that?
So in the police academy, we go over the identification of different narcotics, and then I've also attended several drug addiction trainings as well.
And with regards to your employment, were you employed with Lehigh City as a police officer on on July 11th of 2023?
That was
And what were your duties and responsibilities on that day?
on that date. I was the officer in charge as the local for the patrol team.
Okay. And around, if you recall where you were, around 16:22 hours, around 2:20 in the afternoon.
I was most likely at the police department.
Okay. And where is that? What city is that located in?
Lehigh City.
And did you respond to a call or an individual around 2:22 in the afternoon?
Yes.
What were the circumstances surrounding that?
I was dispatched to a supervisor to follow up a citizen who went to the police department lobby and wanted to file a complaint regarding an incident from the other day.
Okay, and did you take that follow-up?
I did.
Where was that over the phone or in person?
That was in person.
And where was the person?
They were at the police department lobby.
Okay. And during your conversation with that individual, were you able to identify who that individual was?
I was.
And who was that?
It was the defendant, Kenneth. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
How do you spell the last name?
If I can reference my report. P-A-C-I-O-R-E-K.
And do you see the individual, Kenneth, P-A-C-I-O-R-E-K, in the courtroom today?
And just real quick, I just want to make sure we're pronouncing it correct. Is it Pachorik?
Yes.
Okay, okay. And so is that the name, Pachorik?
Yes.
And do you see Mr. Pachorik, or the individual you saw on that date in the courtroom today?
I do.
Could you please point to him and describe what he's wearing?
He's sitting at the defendant's table. He's wearing blue jeans, a black overcoat, and a white shirt. Yeah.
And you're not at the court take note that he identified the defendant sitting at the defendant's table. On that date, how were you able to identify him as Mr. Pachorik?
I believe he identified himself by name, but then I was also able to run a records check and find a local ID with a photo as well.
Okay, and did that match?
It did.
Okay. And during your conversation with Mr. Pachorik, can you describe how long that conversation took?
It took approximately another from 10 to 12 minutes, I would say.
Okay. And was that conversation, did that have anything to do with this case?
No.
Okay. Talking about how we led to where we're here today and how he was cited, do you, at any point during the conversation, did you or anyone you know run his information through the state system?
Yes.
Could you please describe that?
So, during our interaction, Mr. Pachorik asked the status on a previous case that he filed with Lehigh. I told him I would go look into that status. And when I went back to look into it, several other officers advised me that Mr. Pachorek had a felony warrant.
Okay, and were you able to confirm that?
I was.
Okay. And at that point, what happened?
At that point, I asked the other officer who was in charge of that previous case that Mr. Pachorek was requesting the status on. He happened to be on duty. I asked him to come talk to Mr. Pachorek about that status, which he did, and then afterwards, we both took him into custody for the felony warrant.
Okay. After Mr. Pachorek was taken into custody, what happened next?
He was escorted out to the parking lot and placed in a patrol vehicle, and at that time, we searched his backpack, the anonymous person.
Okay, and why did you search the backpack?
Because the jail won't accept that large of a property, so we have to secure it at our police department for safekeeping for him to come back and get. But then we search it to make sure we're not looking in any illegal items, any potentially hazardous items, firearms, stuff like that.
Okay, and during your inventory search of the backpack, did you find anything of note?
We did.
Your Honor, may I approach to alert to have something marked?
Have you shown this item to Mr. Pachorek?
I'm placing before you what's been marked as City's Exhibit 1. Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is that?
This is a packaging for a gummy CBD and THC.
Okay. And is that the exact item that you found in Mr. Pachorek's bag as you were doing an inventory search?
It is.
And is it in the same condition as when you searched Mr. Pachorek's bag?
It is.
Your Honor, the Senate City of United States Exhibit 1 into evidence.
Okay, Mr. Pachorek, any objection to having this entered as evidence?
No.
Okay, we'll accept that. If I could just see that real quick, we'll leave it. Looks like it's sealed, and I'll leave that sealed unless the city needs it open at a later time. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if I can read the whole package, and there's a sticker. It's right here.
And Your Honor, maybe just to help my approach, I have a certain second exhibit. I'm placing before you what's been marked as City's Exhibit 2. Do you recognize those photos?
I do.
And what are they?
These are photos of backpack as well as the contents and the gummy packaging and contents that's found inside that packaging.
And do these pictures fairly and accurately depict what you found or saw in Mr. Pachorek's backpack and the labels on the evidence, City's Exhibit 1?
They do.
This time the city would, of course, we would enter City's Exhibit 1, or excuse me, 2.
Okay. Mr. Pachorek, any objections to having the court enter this as evidence?
I object because I was accused with drug paraphernalia and it's not on there.
Okay, I appreciate that. What the city's asking is that I be allowed to look at this as evidence in deciding guilt or innocence in this case. Do you have any objection to me looking at these photographs?
No.
Okay, we'll enter that as City's Exhibit 2. And then if If you don't mind, if you bring up Exhibit 1 as well. Just want to compare Exhibit 1 to the things that are photographed in Exhibit 2. Thank you.
Now, Corporal Page, with regards to the evidence that you found in Mr. Pechorik's bag, let's go back to the bag or the sour lemon gummies. Why did that draw your attention?
Because the labeling says that they are THC based.
Okay. And when it says base, does that mean that it has both CBD and THC to your knowledge?
Correct.
Okay. And in the pictures, it shows that there's one of the cubes remaining. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, is there still one cube in the bag today?
It feels like it.
Okay. And based on your training experience and what you've experienced, not only as an officer, as a person, did what you see inside that bag, was that similar to other gummies or CBD or THC gummies that you'd seen?
Yes.
Okay. And was it consistent with what the packaging was labeled?
Yes.
I object.
Okay, what's the basis for your objection?
Where's the evidence of there was extra CBD packages?
To me, we mean extra CBD package.
Well, he said there was extra indication that I had more than this.
I don't have that in my notes, Mr. Chambers.
Okay.
Can you repeat the question again?
Yes, based on your experience as an officer and as a lay person, did the gummy that you found inside this package conform to your experience with
From BYU, I asked him.
what a CBD and THC gummy would look like?
Yes.
And
I'll allow that question. I didn't hear about any other accusation against Mr. Pechorik other than the allegation about this one particular package that's at issue here today. Go ahead, Mr. Chambers.
at any point during your conversations with Mr. Pechorik, did you ask him if he had a marijuana card?
I did.
And what was his response?
That he did not.
Okay. And then after you found the THC gummies in Exhibit 1, did you ask Mr. Pechorik about those gummies?
I just asked him if he had a medical marijuana card. He said no. And then he stated he purchased them at a smoke shop called Stogie's, and should they be charged for selling him those gummies?
Okay. And during your career, have you ever come across gummies that were a mix of both CBD and THC?
I have.
Okay. And is that common or uncommon based on your experience, or?
It's becoming more common.
Did you issue Mr. Pechorik a citation?
I did not.
Okay. After you found the bag, what did you do with the bag? Excuse me, after you searched the backpack, what did you do with the backpack after that?
I booked it into our evidence at the police department for safekeeping for Mr. Pechorik to collect at a later date.
Okay. And what did you do with the THC CBD gummies?
I booked those as a separate property number as an illegal item / evidence.
Okay. And did that conclude your interaction with Mr. Pechorik?
It did.
Okay. No further questions for Officer Page or Corporal Page.
Mr. Patrick, you have an opportunity right now, if you'd like, to ask Corporal Page about what did or did not happen during your interaction with him. Keep in mind, you'll have an opportunity a little bit later, if you'd like, to testify and tell things from your side of the situation. This is just an opportunity to ask Corporal Page any questions about that interaction. Do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
Yes, I put in for exhibit some recordings and stuff.
Okay.
I made 2 copies and then I gave her a copy. Can
Okay. And you have a way to play that?
They didn't tell me. They said they would do it.
The prosecutor said they'd play it for you?
Or the clerk said that all I needed was the CD and then give it to him.
I mean, certainly he needs a copy of that, but we don't have any way for you to play that if you didn't bring an instrument of your own.
Okay.
Just tell me briefly, if you would, what do these recordings contain?
Conversations that that he wasn't aware that I was recording the whole time.
Okay.
And
of the conversation that Officer Page has testified to today?
yes.
Okay. You're welcome to ask him questions about that conversation. Since we won't be able to play the recordings, you are certainly welcome to ask him questions about that conversation if you'd like.
Okay. Let me find a page. Hold on, I had to run to the bathroom across the street. Okay, where's that? Can you explain the clearance auto-generate workflow?
I'm sorry, what are you referencing?
The clearance?
Is that part of the police report?
Yes.
Do you mind if I look at my...
Yeah. And if you've got, maybe what would help, if you've got a page number specifically,
Page number 2.
does that help you?
Yes.
And say the name of that again for Mr. Patrick, the
Auto-generate workflow.
auto-generate workflow. Okay, thank you.
The clearance.
I don't know what that means, no.
No? Do you know why the last radio log is kind of sealed up? Like sealed on page 2?
Page 2. Oh, do you mean why it's like starred out?
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay. You said this happened at 2, is it military time? Or
Yes.
2200?
1622.
Oh, 1622. Okay. Well, I have at where's it at? 14. Do you know who was the person that told you, all the officers that were involved, telling you about my active warrant?
I do not remember their names specifically, no.
You do not remember their names. Okay. Was it from a call that was received?
From
A call that was received?
I do not believe so.
No? Okay. Because are you aware that something was sent 20 minutes prior of me going there? That this whatever you don't understand, the workflow was advising your agency. Were you aware of that? 20 minutes prior for me going there?
I don't understand your question, but I think my answer is no.
Okay. Can you explain the policy on CBD with 0.03% THC?
What do you mean by policy?
The federal and state regulations for Utah?
So federally, THC is still criminalized, and in Utah, it's still criminalized as well, unless you have a medical marijuana card.
Do you know about the Farmers Act, where federal and state regulations say that hemp with 0 or 0.03% is legal or lawful?
So hemp and THC are two different.
It comes from the hemp plant.
Yes,
Yes.
but hemp is not illegal. THC is illegal.
But it's lawful. You're not aware of that?
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Remember, the point of this opportunity is to ask him questions.
Mhm.
You can make some arguments
Okay.
a little bit later, but this is an opportunity for you to ask him questions about your interaction with him.
Okay. When we were okay, Horsley was the one. When you were kind of arresting me, or Horsley was, interrogating me, and did you ask him? Did you want to charge him with this marijuana charge?
Sorry, did I can you reframe the question?
Did you ask Officer Horsley if you wanted to charge him?
I believe so.
Yes. And what was his answer?
That yes, he would.
And you're under oath. Do you know that?
Yes.
Okay. Did you tell him certain things to do? Like not having him
The straps are working. Neither of them? Yeah. They didn't bring it back, but. Dense Tech. That way you know she is in the office, because sometimes she's not. I'd hate for you to show up and she's not. That's right. It's not working. You put on the right radio? Yes. I'm just going to confusion. Okay. There's no confusion here. Any questions for us? Because you're working over your color as well. Okay. Any questions for us? Yeah, that's not good. No. It's out. How much time? Never really been a big fan. I'm trying to quit. Thank you. You like the winter fresh?
Yeah.
Never been.
actually
A what? Pill search.
fentanyl.
Clonazepam. Not controlled, right?
No. Panic, seizure, epilepsy. It's a benzo.
Yep. So try that one.
I had half of them.
That's also a colonoscopy.
They were like, I got them from Stogies. I got them from, what is it?
This girl is going to be waiting for you here at the PD. She's the only one who can help you. Any questions for us?
Does the sign not work?
What?
Does the strap on? It's illegal or illegal?
You? Probably not. So, question. I don't really care. Do you want to charge him that? No. No, I'm good. You guys taking it on a pretty decent warrant?
It's illegal or illegal?
You read it. Doesn't it say THC on there? Contains hemp, device, CBD, and... I'm going to pull 19 forward and hit him on the other side of the strap on this side. Yeah, and he already said he didn't have nothing. Hey, can you step out real quick? Violation. We're trying to make you get in. We just want your seatbelt to work. Okay, we just want to make your seatbelt work. Did not know that this one doesn't work. Who's going to use this option?
Okay.
There's no confusion.
I mean, no, with different agencies. Charge.
Sorry, did I can you reframe the question?
Did you ask Officer Horsley if you wanted to charge him?
I believe so.
Yes. And what was his answer?
That yes, he would.
And you're under oath. Do you know that?
Yes.
Okay. Did you tell him certain things to do? Like not having him have to sign it or any records? Just bring him there to the Utah County Jail. You didn't advise them on any legal advice? No? Okay. Were you aware with my phone with the investigation?
What do you mean?
The reason why I came there?
The reason why you came there, to my understanding, was to file a complaint.
Yes.
The initial reason had nothing to do with the phone.
Well, I was asking about the phone. Are you aware about that phone?
I'm going to object to relevance. The phone and his initial reason for being in PD isn't relevant to this case.
I'll allow some questions about why he was there. There was some testimony from Corporal Page talking about.
It was the whole scene, the whole thing. So it's all relevant.
Mr. Pechor coming to the police department, but Mr. Pechor, maybe just talk with me briefly.
And I know where Judge Cummings gets money from. Not good.
Does the phone itself that you're referencing have to do with the allegations in this case?
Yes, because it's more political than judicial.
Okay. So I'm not here to engage in politics. I'm here to weigh the burdens of proof and to decide whether or not what's alleged actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
Why somebody was arrested or cited or an officer had an opportunity to make contact with another individual isn't really relevant in the.
And I couldn't explain it. Because it was all on the videos that I provided them with. That they didn't want.
Context of why we're here at this trial today. And so I would just encourage you, let's focus on the facts of the case, what did or did not happen, people's intentions or why they might have cited somebody or not. Kind of doesn't come into play here. I really need to focus on hearing the facts from both sides of Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor, but I asked for my discovery, and the reason why I'm asking these questions is because everything is sealed up, and it tells me that I have to go to other government agencies or security agencies to get my records, which I, tried to through Gamma request, and nothing shows up. I went to the Lehigh Court and talked to the lady there, nice lady, and
And I have those recordings.
my court case is not even in there, like with the case number.
So, you're in the Lehigh City Justice Court right now. We're addressing your case right now in trial, so your case does exist here. Tell me what kind of documents you were provided. What kind of documents were you looking for?
The reason why, everything is blacked out. There's forgery on here. They have a license number that's.
And it's my right to a fair trial to have all evidence.
Incorrect. And then
Why don't you hand those documents to the bailiff and I'll take a look at them?
okay, I have an FBI number.
And so these documents you're handing me right now are the documents that you say you didn't receive, or that you received but you're frustrated that things are blacked out?
No, I'm questioning that, but here's the other ones.
So I guess I can't say for sure because I didn't produce these documents, but I think the city has an obligation based upon the rules that it must comply with the Bureau of Criminal Identification to redact any information that could be sensitive information like driver's license numbers, social security numbers.
But I showed him one copy that had it all, and then the other one was redacted. Contradiction.
Days of birth, things like that.
You're correct.
And I'm only assuming that looking at the fields that are blacked out, for example, comparing a citation that you handed me, which I assume is maybe the original citation versus what looks like to be a copy of the citation.
It's the same one, but
Okay.
one's blacked out.
Yeah, driver's license number is blacked out. UCSO ID is blacked out. FBI ID is blacked out. State ID. So these are all items that are typically blacked out. And my understanding is that the prosecutor is required to do those things under its obligations with the Bureau of Criminal Identification. But otherwise, these documents look like the types of documents that are provided in discovery. So let me get a little back to you. Do you have any other questions for Corporal Page about your interaction with him that's alleged to have occurred July 11th, 2020?
Yes. Why did you add drug paraphernalia after the fact?
Because there is drug paraphernalia.
Where?
The container of that contains the illegal substance is considered drug paraphernalia.
And I call bullshit on that because I had hemp rolling papers because I roll my own cigarettes and they listen to my conversations. So screw you, Lehigh Police.
Container?
What packaging?
Hold on once.
And Mr. Petroy, can you tell me what you're doing with your phone?
Oh, I'm looking up the policy in federal and state for CBD with 0.3% THC.
Okay. We're here for the trial at this point, so I need you to be efficient with your time here. Do you have any other questions that you'd like to ask Officer Page?
Okay. Do you know why I have an FBI number?
My understanding is an FBI number is associated to an individual after they've received criminal convictions.
Yeah. Were you aware
I'm a whistleblower.
of me before this even happened?
Our initial interaction,
Yes.
I believe I interacted with you during the incident that you came to complain about initially.
Before that.
Before that, no.
Um. Yeah. Your Honor, I have a question. Yeah, see, because this evidence would show perjury on this officer, and I did everything the clerk told me to do, and I have no computer. It was stolen. I don't know how to present it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that our clerks would not have said that we could play something in court because we don't have, nor have we ever had any kind of equipment that would allow somebody to play their stuff on. We do that for a number of different reasons, but one, we don't want people to rely on court equipment that may or may not fail at the time, which could affect their case, and so you would have to bring your own equipment to play this stuff.
Oh, I do have it on my phone.
Okay. Mr. Chambers, any objection to hearing?
It's the same.
I'd say would object to relevance, that none of it's relevant. It's not that if it's the videos that he sent to us, none of those are regarding the incident that occurred on this date with his interaction with Corporal Page.
I object.
Mr. Pritchard, is the recording that you're wanting to play for us your conversation with Corporal Page that happened on July 11, 2023?
And I add that the prosecutor had it already, all the stuff. I looked at his computer, and it's compromised. And then I come up with other options, and I just block it.
Yes.
Okay. And how long is that recording?
It is 20 minutes.
Okay. And when you say that you believe that there is some information on that recording that would lead to perjury, tell me what you would anticipate us hearing that would constitute perjury.
His narrative, the supplement form that he put, doesn't,
So specifically, what are you saying you heard? Like, what's the false statement under oath? Based on what he said today, what would be contradictory in the recording that you want to play?
He didn't advise anyone, Officer Horsley.
Okay. Help me understand how, even if that were true, how that is relevant to the court's decision on whether or not there was possession of a controlled substance or possession of drug paraphernalia.
Oh, and the narrative.
So just based upon, I'm not talking about the narrative. The narrative's not before me.
Mm-hmm.
We're going off of Corporal Page's testimony under oath today here in court. You've indicated that there's some perjurious information on that recording that has to do with a conversation he had with another officer. What I'm wondering is, how is that relevant to whether or not the allegations in this case are true or false? The possession of a controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia. I guess what I'm trying to say is, in order for me to accept evidence, it has to be relevant. and something is relevant if it makes a fact that I have to decide more or less established or believable. What I'm wondering is how does that conversation with the other officer, even if true, prove or disprove whether or not there was a controlled substance and paraphernalia?
I think he's maybe incompetent to know the drug. If he's been, through all those classes, because I had Klonopin on me, and he looked it up, and he said it was a controlled substance, and it was.
Okay. I still don't see how his conversation with another officer makes the allegation of a controlled substance and paraphernalia more or less likely. Even if we listen to that and it's true and he did not advise an officer or did advise an officer, I've got to use that as my standard of relevance with respect to the allegations in this case. And so the only reason we want to play this recording is to prove that he did or did not advise an officer.
No, and it's his whole supplement.
So I'm not talking about the supplement or the police report. That's not before me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I think we need to get on the same page there. The only thing that's before me is what's been admitted into court today, which is his testimony.
Factual evidence.
That's what I can go off of.
Well, he said that there was no other officers, and this would show that there was Officer Hawks and Elsa.
I don't have anywhere in my testimony that says there's no other officers. So I'm going to deny the request to play the recording based on our conversation, what you told me. I'm going to find that the recording would be irrelevant to the decision that I need to make today. I'll ask you one more time. Do you have any other questions that you would like to ask Corporal Page at this time?
Yes, why did you take a month to file these charges after I was in Lake County Jail? Utah County Jail.
So I have nothing to do with filing charges.
Okay. So, this is prime evidence, and it shows perjury, and the court, officers have to take an oath, and this would prove
So
it.
once again, you'll have an opportunity to testify and to make some arguments.
Okay.
Right now, once again, is an opportunity for you to ask Corporal Page any questions about your interaction with him or the facts of the case. I'll just ask you one last time, but if you can't stick to that purpose of what this cross-examination is for, then we're going to have to end the cross-examination. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask Corporal Page based upon?
I had 2 or 3 pages full of questions. But knowing that they weren't going to let it slide, I'm like, what is the point?
The facts alleged in this case or your interaction with him on July 11, 2023?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Corporal Page.
You're going to do that one closer, and this might be best. The reason I asked you this question to go on the campus because it came with him. There was some question with regards to his identifying drugs or those types of things. We would just ask that it's okay to open Exhibit 1 and have the court look at the contents of the baggie.
I'm fine with that. Mr. Pachorik, any objection to that?
What was that? I wasn't.
The city is just requesting that Corporal Page cut the sealed package, evidence package open so that the court can inspect the contents of what appears to be a gummy.
Okay. Yes.
Go ahead. Do you have any?
If not, I think the bailiff has a
That works, yeah.
wouldn't just mind handing that back to the officer.
And let me just state on the record what's happening. So the court is receiving what the city had marked as Exhibit 1. So just with this local page, open that sealed evidence package. I'm just removing the contents.
What about the body
And
cam?
it's a package that's been opened. It says Kush Cube Sour Watermelon Gummies, 150 milligram D9 plus 1500 milligrams CBD, 10 gummies, 165 milligrams each, 1650 milligrams THC, CBD, net weight 50 grams, 1.7 ounces. And it looks like on the back there are some supplement facts. This package, while it's been ripped open, has kind of a Ziploc type seal. I'm just going to open that. And inside, it appears to be what the package says, CBD and THC sour watermelon gummy, a single watermelon gummy that appears to be the same thing that shows up in the photographs that were entered as Exhibit 2 by the city. I'm going to reseal the Ziploc portion of this. I'm going to place it back in the evidence bag and have the bailiff return it back with the page, just in case that needs to be resealed and chain of custody established.
And no further questions.
Okay, thank you for letting me have a seat.
And then the city has one more witness.
Okay, what's the illustration? We do this. If you keep the photographs and other evidence, you include the package with the gummy in it. That way, if you ever need to establish chain of custody, you've got it in your custody. Okay. Who's the next witness you'd like to know?
Next round is to call Officer Horsley to the stand.
All right, Officer Horsley, if you'll come stand underneath the clock, raise your hand. Swearing is a record.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you will give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Good afternoon, Officer Horsley. Could you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Officer Garrett Horsley, HORSLEY.
And are you currently employed?
I am.
How so?
I am a police officer for the city of Leon.
And were you so employed on July 11th, 2023? Are you familiar with the circumstances surrounding this case? On the date in question, Officer Page indicated that he did not issue Mr. Pachorek a citation. Did you issue Mr. Pachorek a citation?
I did.
Why?
Per what Corporal Page had found, we then kind of correlated afterwards and agreed that it was indeed marijuana and THC, and that I would be taking charges after that. I spoke to Mr. Pachorek.